Be strong.
Hello there, welcome to Audio Bites, David Copperfield, a novel by Charles Dickens. Here we are going to start the episode 2, so let's get started. My first trip and homecoming. When I first arrived in Yarmouth, I was disappointed. I don't know what I expected, but I certainly did not think that the seaside would be so dull and gloomy. However, I soon cheered up when I met Peggotty's relatives. Her friendly and jolly brother, Mr. Peggotty, his nephew Ham, and his niece, Emily, who was also an orphan. Emily was the same age as me, and when I saw her, it was love at the first sight. Mr. Peggotty's widowed sister in law, Mrs. Gummidge, lived there too. She seemed miserable and complained all the time. I don't think she realized how lucky she was to be with such good people. They all lived in a strange but wonderful place. A large boat that had been turned into a house. It no longer sailed on the water, but was now permanently on the beach. It was divided into little rooms with proper furniture and pictures on the wall. There was even a fireplace. Every room was painted in bright colors. The place had a fishy smell, of course, but it wasn't at all unpleasant. While I was at Yarmouth, I spent most of my days collecting stones and shells on the beach with Emily. One day, a dreamy, distant look came into Emily's eyes, and she told me her secret wish. If I was a lady, I would buy Uncle Peggotty a gold watch and a silver pipe. Oh, and a red velvet waistcoat with diamond buttons on it because he has been so good to me and my third cousin Ham. Then her smile disappeared. I don't think I will ever become a lady though. My father was only a fisherman and my mother was a fisherman's daughter. So I don't suppose I am from the right sort of family. Her beautiful eyes looked so sad that I wished I could do something to help make her wish come true. My holiday came to an end too soon and we had to part. I was very sad to leave little Emily, but we promised to write to each other. She was my first love and I would never forget her. When I arrived back home, I found that everything had changed. Mother had married to Mr. Murdstone and his sister had come to live there. It just didn't feel like home anymore. Even my mother seemed to be different. She rarely spoke to me, and when she did, it was in a quick whisper. Davy, I love you, but please, please behave. I felt lonely and cried every night for hours before I fell asleep. Mr. Mudstone had not only changed the atmosphere of the rookery, but he had also changed Mother. She feared him and his sister. If Mother showed me any kindness, he would frown at her, then take her aside and talk to her in a strict way. I felt so sorry for Mother. Remember that I am teaching you how to be a good mother. Be firm with the boy and always control yourself. Your son needs discipline. Mother would lower her head, and I sometimes saw tears in her eyes. One day, I went into the living room after breakfast for my morning lessons with Mother. Mr. and Miss Mudstone sat and listened carefully to everything she said and watched everything she did. She smiled at me when she thought the Mudstones weren't looking, but Mr. Mudstone saw her and decided to ask me a question. How much will I have to pay for 5,000 pieces of cheese if each one cost 4.5 pennies? I was so afraid that I couldn't answer the question. I saw Miss Mudstone smile at her brother. He doesn't know the answer, Edward. Mr. Mudstone stood up. Then I saw that he held a cane in his hand. He swished the cane, and I heard it whistle through the air. When I was a boy and didn't know my lessons, I was beaten. It did me no harm, and it will do you no harm either, David. My mother begged Mr. Mudstone to give me another chance, but he refused to listen. David and I will go upstairs and I will teach him a lesson that he'll never forget. Mr. Mudstone dragged me up to my room and held my head under his arm so that I could not move. Then he beat me with the cane until I thought I would die. I begged him to stop, but he just beat me harder, so I did the only thing I could. I beat him his hand. This made Mr. Mudstone very angry. He beat me again. Then, when I couldn't stand up any more, he threw me to the floor, left the room, and locked the door behind him. That will teach you a lesson, Copperfield, and you will have plenty of time to think about your behavior. I was left there alone for 5 days. Mother and Peggotty were not allowed to come near me. Only Peggotty whispered me one night through the keyhole, "Mr. Mudstone has decided to send you away to boarding school. I will never forget you, Master Davy. I love you and so does your mother." Those words meant me so much, and I would remember them whenever I was alone. So here we come to the end of the episode 2. In case you have not heard to the audiobook of episode 1, please go and check the description below. I have dropped a link to it. The novel is interesting. It is going to continue soon. I'll be coming soon with the episode 3. Thanks for watching and do subscribe my channel for more. Thank you.